Yeah.
at the expense of young women who are very often much more vulnerable for obvious reasons than young men. And it reminds me of, so the very first congressional delegation trip that I ever took was to Paris. I think it was to Paris. And it's part of the Paris Air Show, and Ohio has all these, aviation interests. And anyway, long story short, I was talking to a very conservative woman at the Paris Air Show who was from Mississippi, and she was probably 65, 70. And it was really interesting because I was just like, how do you find the city? She had never been to Paris before. And I'm just, interested in people. So I was asking her, and she said, what's really interesting is I just feel like Paris, I would think of as very liberal, but I actually think Paris is more conservative than some of the big cities in the United States. And I said, oh, tell me more about this. And this woman doesn't know me very well, and she's clearly kind of embarrassed to tell me. But she walks through, she says, well, I just don't see any people, like when you're in Paris, the girls are girls and the boys are boys. And that's true in Paris, and that's not necessarily true in some of our big cities. And then she says, she says, Senator Vance, I'm embarrassed to tell you this, but when I was in New York City recently, I saw a grown man who was walking around in a mini skirt, and then she gets very quiet and she said, Senator Vance, I could see his balls.